Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving the 2026 Cadillac Optiq V. Below me are two electric motors powering this all-new performance SUV from Cadillac. I am super excited to be making this video here today because I'm up in Ann Arbor, Michigan to put this vehicle through its paces. This is the new performance variant of the Cadillac Optiq. The Cadillac Optiq debuted last year for the 2025 model year, but now it's back with lots of improvements, most specifically with the drivetrain, so that's what we're going to be talking about here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that dual motor drivetrain. Well, it is up to 519 horsepower here for the Optiq V. Now, the standard Optiq actually gets its own power jump for the 2026 model year to 440, as well as there's a new rear-wheel drive version that makes 315 horsepower. So across the board, the Optiq makes more power in every configuration, and there's a new rear-wheel drive as well as the new V. This, with its 519 horsepower, will do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds and make 650 pound-feet of torque, which is no slouch. That has been absolutely wonderful. However, the designers of this vehicle wanted this to be the more driver-oriented EV. The Lyriq V is faster, but this is, in their own words, a canyon carver. And so today, let's try that theory out. It's actually really good. I enjoyed driving this on the back roads of Michigan. In the twisties, this vehicle is a lot of fun. Honestly, it left a little bit to be desired in terms of straight line speed and launch control, just in terms of its older sibling, the Lyriq V. But on a back road, on a twisty road in V mode, it really stiffens up, and it's a very, very enjoyable drive, which I can't say about most other EVs. They have spent a lot of time. This car was partially developed on the tail of the Dragon down in Tennessee. The suspension of this car was developed by the team that did the CT5V Blackwing, and the chief engineer, John, was a chassis engineer for the C5 and C6 Corvette. So if any team knows how to put a chassis together, I think it's this one, and honestly, it really starts to show through. This is a sporty, fun vehicle to drive, and that is really sweet. Now, the performance version is down a little bit on range. This only gets 278 miles of range, where the rear-wheel drive will do 317 miles, and the standard all-wheel drive will get 303, which is still more than the outgoing 2025 Optiq that only got 300 miles of range. This is also the first GM product to have the NACS charge port on the side, basically, as a lot of people know it as the Tesla port. So a lot more chargers are going to be available for the Optiq V, which is very exciting, and of course this technology will trickle down to other vehicles. But the Lyriq V still did not have this, so very, very cool for the Optiq. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me I have a completely digital gauge cluster. You'll find this in basically every new Cadillac product. It's pretty customizable. You can swipe through a couple different screens like gauge cluster, energy, map assist, clean screens, all of that stuff. I like it. It works pretty well. On the steering wheel on the left, we do have our adaptive cruise. This is outfitted with Super Cruise, as well as our V button. So the V button is going to allow you to customize your driving experience with suspension feel and brake feel and throttle and all of that. Very, very cool to see that. And then off to the right of the steering wheel, we have our volume, skip track, and phone options, of course, with the V badge right in the center. Off to the left, we do get that touch screen to adjust the gauge cluster, as well as down below, we get our first hint of blue accenting, power parking brake, rear tailgate release, auto holding brake, and gauge dimmer switch. And moving on to the door, we have our memory heated, ventilated power, and massage seat options. Yes, you do get massage seats, which I think is quite lovely. And down lower on the door card, we get the lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get our infotainment display. This does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. GM is switching exclusively to Google Integrated, So whether that's a good thing or bad thing, that is what's found on the Optiq V. This also does have an AKG sound system with Dolby Atmos, which is a 3D audio system. Really, really cool. Sounds fantastic. And here's the backup camera. It does have a 360 camera, but it does leave a little bit to be desired. I wish that it was a little bit clearer. Down below, we have more blue accenting, as well as our physical climate controls. Love to see all this. Pretty easy to use, dual zone climate, things like that. And then down below, we have two USB-Cs, a large cubby, and a storage container down on the ground. And moving up to the center console, we have our selectors for the infotainment screen, as well as volume, home, and navigation. And we have cup holders off to the right. So we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and as we learned earlier this year when we did a short of this vehicle, it does in fact pass the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do have a center console. There is a wireless phone charger in there as well. So very, very nice to see that. And the seats. As I mentioned, the seats are heated, ventilated, power, memory, and massaging. And the V gets a special little pattern, as well as this really cool V logo stitched into the seat. I absolutely love this attention to detail. I think this is a really, really cool point of the vehicle. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2026 Cadillac Optiq V, and a couple of things to note. First of all, the blue accenting really carries on back here. The entire back of the front seat is blue. Their accents on the doors are blue. The seat belts are blue. They really hit you over the head with the blue, but I like that. I like feeling special. This is not your grandpa's Optiq, and I like seeing that. Knee room, fantastic. Headroom, good as well. I'm 5'11", not a small guy. I'm not hitting the seat in front of me. I'm not hitting the ceiling above me. We do have two climate control vents. We have a wall outlet, as well as heated seats and two USB-Cs. We also do have a center console that comes down with two cup holders. Overall, this is a really nice place to be. It's not any different size-wise than the standard Optiq, which is great, but you do get nicer accenting back here, and I don't know, it makes it feel a little bit more special. So I definitely like to see that. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. Right around the back of the Optiq V, hit it twice here on the key fob to pop the power lift gate. Love to see that. And once we are back here, again, all standard V stuff. We don't get a crazy chassis brace in our way, which is actually really nice. So this is still a very, very usable EV. We do have a big privacy cover over here. We can pull this up as well. We get a little bit of storage down below, pretty much as I would want out of an EV, or be able to get out of an EV because of all that battery space being taken up. Speaker back here as well, and we do get a 12-volt outlet. Very nice for tire inflators or just general plugs. So very cool. Nothing really too crazy back here for the V specifically, but I do like the cargo space of the Optiq. Now we got to talk about the looks, and honestly, this is one of the downsides for the Optiq V because it does get a rear carbon fiber diffuser and rear carbon fiber wing, but other than that, it doesn't look that much crazier. Now, Cadillac has always been understated with their performance vehicles. If you go back to the original Cadillac CTS V, it didn't look that much crazier than a standard CTS. So, with that lineage, I get it. I just personally would want to see it a little bit crazier, and the Optiq Lyriq, Vistic, and Escalade IQ all have very similar front fascias, so I wish that there was a little bit more differentiation. However, you will notice those giant 6-piston Brembo brakes up at the front, again finished in blue, but you could also get them finished in black or red, and it has bespoke wheels for the Optiq V. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Cadillac Optiq V for the very first time? Well, it's been a really cool experience. I am very happily impressed with how this vehicle handles. In the corners, in the twisties, under load, in V mode, it is a lot of fun. GM designed a very well handling EV. Point blank, that's what it is. The Lyriq V is faster in a straight line. It's more of a grand tourer though. This actually feels more sporty. They said themselves, the Lyriq V is like the CT5 V and the Optiq V is like the CT4 V. And so you really do feel that. I think they did a wonderful job. I just have to wonder who this vehicle is specifically for. Now, they mentioned that the V Series is targeting a younger market. On average, the V Series buyer is 8 years younger than the standard standard Cadillac buyer, which puts them at about 92 years old. I'm just kidding. It's like 50s, 40s, that sort of area. And so the average V buyer is younger. They are going after that younger demographic, and it shows here because the vehicles are more lively and they are more fun. But if I want a Canyon Carver, I'm not sure that I would resort to a $70,000 EV. It seems as though Cadillac is really truly making the best of a somewhat rotten situation. They've made an EV that handles fantastic, but at the end of the day, it's still an EV, and I just don't see CT4V or CT5V customers moving over to this once those vehicles are killed off. And so while this is incredibly cool, I like it, it's wonderful, I would drive this on a back road all day, I'm not sure this is what I would spend my money on. But it is a halo car, and so part of the idea behind this as well is that you see the Optiq V, you come into the showroom and maybe you can't swing the Optiq V payments, but the Optiq all-wheel drive might be more in your wheelhouse and you can go with that, or maybe even the extended range two-wheel drive one might be more for you, and so you can go then buy that. This will get people in the door at least, and that's what Cadillac is trying to do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Cadillac for bringing me up here to Michigan to drive the all-new Optiq V. They've been absolutely wonderful to work with. They did provide a night in a hotel and food during my time here in Michigan. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.